What's going on, everyone? Austin John Please here, and today we're going to be going over all of the new Pokemon that may be receiving a Mega Evolution in the Mega Dimension. This video is brought to you by Galaxy Lamps, more on them later. The 43-second trailer of the Mega Dimension DLC for Pokemon Legend ZA, shown at the Nintendo Direct in September 2025, gave us a very quick glimpse at a lot of the Mega Stones before completely blindsiding us with Mega Evolutions X and Y for Raichu. Although some people thought it was Pikachu at the time, I can't imagine why. The Raichu Mega Evolutions literally look like a Pikachu-colored Raichu and a Raichu-colored Pikachu. I think that was their basis, and they were like, make one special, make one physical, great. But all of those stones that we saw beforehand came at us real quick, and the internet has been going crazy theorizing what those Mega Evolutions will be. We haven't had any leaks talking about this. We haven't had any information. We're truly in the dark. So I decided to sit down and compare every single stone to what Pokemon they could be. In this video, I'm not going to be talking about any specifics with leaks or rumors or anything else. It is all fun fan service speculation, so it is completely spoiler free. You can walk into Pokemon Legends ZA and the DLC, and anything in my video here is me just using educated guesses. If it's 99% right, that means I'm really good at guessing. Don't play Guess Who against me. On with the video. I'm going to be putting my predictions in National Pokedex order, and then I'm also going to be including any alternatives that we could see. First up, obviously, Typhlosion. We have the other two Johtonian starters. It makes so much sense that they would throw Typhlosion into the DLC. See, no one has even said Typhlosion yet on Reddit. Come on, Reddit, I expected better of you. The only thing that leads me to not believe that this exact stone is Typhlosion is because this back is really green and Typhlosion's back isn't that green. It just seems a little off, and then also the pink to the red, which my first guess for this would have been Haxorus. There we go, it loads. Which is a little bit closer in color, but again, still doesn't meet that green all that well. Who exactly knows what's going on? Maybe the green is going to be the color of Typhlosion's new fire when he Mega Evolves. We don't know. Some of these Megas take on a different color. I think it's Typhlosion. It makes sense that there's Typhlosion in the DLC. Why would we only have two of the three? Next up is not a great one, but Floatzel. This one that is very orange, a good amount of white, and an itty bitty bit of blue leads me to believe it's Floatzel. The only thing that doesn't make sense is that we would see more yellow than that, which I thought about it further, and I have a better guess, which is Rotom. All orange, little bit of white, even tiny bit of blue because the blue is just like energy around it. Having a Mega Rotom of its base form, not of its various appliances, or maybe all of its appliances, who knows? Could be like a whole thing going on. It's about time that Rotom becomes more viable, back to a fragment of what it previously was. Now the question is, what would its Mega Appliance be? Would it just be a combination of all of them? Would it be a weird amalgamation of all appliances that doesn't make sense, but because of the energy of Rotom? Or would he possess a very powerful thing? Would he possess, I don't know, a cannon? Next up is probably my worst guess, but it's Gastrodon. This all blue on top of blue with a little bit of green. If you look at every single Pokemon who is all blue with a little bit of green, there's not a lot of options. This is also the blurriest one, so it's hardest to even get a better image if there is an accent color. I think between Gastrodon and Rotom, there's going to be some element of, you know, appealing to VGC players for Pokemon Champions coming out, incentive to buy the DLC. We don't know exactly how that's going to work if you have to transfer a Pokemon from PLZA into Champions for then it to be Mega Evolution compatible, like the weird way that it currently handles the Mega Evolution decks in Pokemon Home. We're gonna have to wait and see. But if that is the case, having Gastrodon in here and receiving a Mega Evolution makes a lot of sense. Next up, we have this green orb with green, orange, a little bit of dark green. Obviously, it's Lilligant. How could you not think it's Lilligant? There's nothing else it could possibly be. It could only be Lilligant. It wouldn't make sense for them to make any other Pokemon into Lilligant. Unless it's Flygon, because then people are gonna be really happy. Not to stir the pot, Lilligant matches this a lot better than Flygon does. Like, that orange is definitely not that red. There were some people who were like, if you look really closely, you can see Flygon inside of there, and I don't think that's a thing. I think that's just people manifesting it into reality. As much as I don't want to think it's Lilligant, it might be Lilligant. As far as what Mega Lilligant would actually look like, we've already seen Hisuian Lilligant, who is a very slim, frail attacker. And maybe Lilligant could be more than just a pretty mid-support Pokemon. Orange, brown, yellow, Crustle. I know it's not a very popular choice, although Crustle did gain some popularity because of Pokemon Unite. Other option would be Turtonator. Turtonator also kind of works for this, but we're once again in a situation that I think we would have seen this pinkish reddish a little bit more. That tracks. You got the brown, you got the little bit of lines, you got the little bit of yellow. And finding a Pokemon that's brown and orange, I think those are the only two options. Outside of every other color, has to be predominantly orange with some brown. I think it's just Turtonator and Crustle. And having Crustle, they are choosing a lot of Gen 5 Pokemon in from what we've seen previously with the leaks and rumors, so Crustle kind of works for this. What would Crustle's Mega Evolution look like? I don't know, but he has a big old rock on him. The rock could be much larger, and he could be even bulkier. He could be a pseudo Shuckle. Maybe he even changes to a steel type, and then just is quad weak to fire. Oh, he becomes Scissor at that point, doesn't he? We need another pseudo-legendary Hydreigon. Mega Hydreigon makes so much sense. We haven't seen a new pseudo-legendary being announced. Oh, duh, Dragonite. I keep forgetting Dragonite's a pseudo-legendary. We have Mega Dragonite already shown off in trailers and gameplay and everything else, so DLC should probably have one too, right? Hydreigon makes sense. What could Hydreigon's evolution be? Does it gain another head? Would it be, what's 4 in German? Veer? Would it be Veer Dragon? If it's not Hydreigon, there was one alternative that I thought it could be, Weavile. The only reason I don't think it's Weavile is because we would have seen that little gold or the white or something. Plus, the Sneasel line has gotten a lot of love in the last Legends game with Sneasler. My thought that it's Weavile is much lower. Hydreigon just makes a little bit more sense, especially with the color scheme. Like, when you look at them back and forth, and this is what I did. I just went through the color palettes over and over, and I was like, yeah, no, it's that, yeah. Next up, everyone's favorite, Aegislash. Amazing shiny color. You get to literally control an inanimate sword, a possessed flying sword from Dungeons & Dragons as a Pokemon. Why wouldn't it be Aegislash? Which really makes you wonder what its mega would be. Would it be something between the sword and the shield stance? Would it be a spear? Would it be a trident? Would it be both sword and shield at the same time? That's called Pokemon Gun. Aegislash being our first Gen 6 Pokemon, we're gonna keep that theme going, also Dex order. Clawvitzer. Clawvitzer makes so much sense for him to actually be one of the choices in here. He has an amazing cool design, completely underrepresented in the wide variety of order types. I think it's one of the coolest. He has a signature move. I'm pretty sure I've never actually used it on a team. He was pretty cool in Pokemon New Snap, so Clawvitzer in there, amazing. What could its mega be? He has 2 cannons. Simple as that. 2 cannons. Not the Pokemon or bird, but just the big cannon, there's 2 of them. A Howitzer is a tank, right? An artillery weapon that falls between a cannon and a mortar. Maybe it becomes a full tank. Okay, next up, we're getting into 2 very spicy options. I feel like they're more of hopes and dreams of everyone, but when you see the colors, it's gonna make sense. Tyrantrum and Aurorus. We've only had one fossil, and that's Aerodactyl, a single form, but having Tyrantrum and Aurorus, which I think this was the only time that the fossils were early in the Pokedex. Maybe Gen 5 also had that too. I don't remember. Don't quote me on that. but I do remember Tyrantrum and Aurorus having a strong presence on a gym leader's team, right? Pokemon Adventures, Grant owns a Tyrantrum. It was first used to try to stop the ultimate weapon from activating Pyroar Breathes. Oh, yeah, the mega weapon from like so long ago. Why not have an old Pokemon who tried to stop it back in the day and was affected by mega energy? Boom, Mega Crystal exists because of that. It all comes together, man. It all comes together. Same thing with Aurorus. And oh god, doesn't Tyrantrum have huge power, or was that just the ultraLOCKE? Oh yeah, it's Rock Head and Strong Jaw. That makes sense. Yo, give it huge power. This thing is already a beast. Why not make it stronger? Or would it get something dumb like a stat boost to its attack, but its ability becomes the one of Arceus, where it becomes useless if it's hit? Pretty much everything I said with Tyrantrum except less cool. Now this Aurorus spot, I saw a great post on Reddit, which was someone saying Jinx. This would also be one of those instances that the Pokemon dramatically changes color and all of its red becomes blue because it is an ice type, and looking at this, you're like, oh yes, that is very much so ice type. Actually making it into blue and much more of an ice-like creature makes sense, but I didn't have a good alternative for Tyrantrum, which is the reason I'm throwing Aurorus back in here. Are you ready for the hottest take? The hottest take of all of these. And it's gonna be really spicy, okay? Sylveon. One of the evolutions gets a Mega, it's Sylveon. The fairy type Pokemon, the only new type that's been added in the last 15 years, whatever, and it was first introduced in the Kalos region. This one was real out front and it was real crystal clear. When you look at the colors and you try to find anything else that's that shade of Trident, it's really hard to argue that it's not Sylveon. It's probably Sylveon. That's all I gotta say. Look at it. Look at those colors. Look at the thing. That's a Sylveon. Having that much preference toward one evolution already exists with Sylveon because it's a fairy. Just having that one form being even stronger and possibly a real threat for battles in VGC, Sylveon makes sense. It already has Pixelate, an amazing ability that makes Hyper Beam a freaking cannon coming out of this thing. Hyper Voice, it has so many options. And then I could just imagine its little ribbons become more Suicune-like, so that'd be dope. Runner-up for the Sylveon spot, Milotic. It's a little bit more of a stretch. The white doesn't match the beige, which is the reason I'm sticking with Sylveon. After Sylveon, you know there's not a lot left. Gourgeist. I know, it's probably not what everyone else would have chose, but if you were to look for Pokemon who are pink, brown, and beige, you have 0 options except for Gourgeist. This one I racked my brain around when I was chatting with Phil about this. He was like, Gourgeist? And then boom, he made the list. Did I have an alternative? Oh, yes, I had an alternative option, which was Gastrodon West C. And considering that I already used Gastrodon East C in here, I don't see why they would have 2 different Mega Stones for the 2 Gastrodon. They would probably just do what they did in Sword and Shield and have only 1 Gastrodon. Oh, I should be wearing my color palette Pokemon merch, shouldn't I? I haven't done a load of whites in a while, so ignore my extremely wrinkled shirt right now. It's not dirty, it still smells like soap. I just haven't done a load of whites. Yeah, Pokemon palette merch. It's probably down below or austinjohnblaze.com/merch. I should have been wearing this. I really should have. Anyway, I think Trevenant is a lot cooler, but the simple fact that Gourgeist is the only Pokemon that has 4 listed sizes as different forms before they made different size Pokemon and canon thing after Gen 6. I mean, it's a neat thing. Plus seeing all 4 different sizes of it Mega Evolve, I could imagine that the Mega is a pumpkin patch, which would be cool, but who knows? And that is the end of the list. The only thing that makes sense more is a Mega Hoopa or an Ultra Hoopa, but they probably wouldn't show that stone up front, and that's gonna be like the big bad of the DLC, or the big good. I don't know Hoopa's alignment. And looking at all the stones that were in here, nothing really matched pink and purple with a big representation of gold. The closest thing was the Aegislash stone, but that didn't have pink. What do you think of my predictions of all of the different Mega Pokemon that we could be seeing in the DLC? I think I did a good job. I didn't let the internet corrupt my choices. I made them all on my own, along with some, you know, good second alternative guesses. Honestly, I'm pretty confident in these choices, except for the ones that I'm not confident in, like Gastrodon. Great. Guys, thank you so much for being here. I'm excited for Pokemon Legends ZA. I hope you are too. Be sure to be subscribed and come back. We are covering the game heavily when it comes out. Till next time, Austin shining.
Man, they see me shining like I got the charm. Stay strapped, got that jet ball in my palm. Fell from the sky, guess I'm the chosen one. And if you need to know how, check out Austin John. Champion flow, flow, yeah. I got that champion flow, flow.